Hey there, I finished my 2022 December daily, you guys. This thing is this chunky little book, and I'm so excited that it is done, and I'm going to do a flip through for you. Okay, guys, this thing is done. So I used this cover from Jamaica Makes. So I wanted to talk about that first. So you can see it's reflective, so you can probably see my phone up there filming this video. And it also got quite a few marks on it, but besides that, it's super cute. I lined the inside of it with one of the pattern papers from the kit from Ali Edwards. I think it was from the main kit. So I finished this album in August of 2023, which is very late for me to finish my December daily album, but because I finished it so late, I don't really remember what products were from which kit, but I typically remember the manufacturer. Most things in here are from Ali Edwards. There are also some things from a few other manufacturers that I will point out as I flip through. I also have process videos for pretty much every page in here, maybe every page here on my YouTube channel. So if you want any more details about any of the specific pages that you see here, you can click over and find those process videos. I will leave a link to that playlist down below. And there are photos of all of these projects on my Instagram, so you can click over there if you want to see close-up images. I decided to do this super small mini this year. It is 4 inches by 5.5 inches, I believe, which was super fun. I have done a mini one in the past. The smallest size I ever did was a 4x6 that was a horizontal mini, and I believe that was in 2017. But in 2021, I did the 10x8, which is huge. That's way bigger than this, and I just wanted to switch it up. I wanted to do something super simple, and 2022 was the first Christmas after I got divorced. So I wanted to keep this very small because it was just me and my daughter, and we didn't do a ton of like Christmassy stuff that we had done in the past. So I was unsure of how much I was going to have to include. In addition to that, I was also very busy in December because I taught a class at Ali Edwards in January of 2023. So a lot of my December was spent prepping that class. So I started my album with a very simple title page that just says December 2022 on here and includes a photo of me and my daughter. With this size of album, you really have to go fairly simple on most pages. I did do some more interactive elements and things in here as I got going, but mostly I tried to keep it simple. I especially tried to do that when it came to towards the end because I wanted to finish it up. But one of the reasons why I did this small album was I wanted to do it a simpler approach. So I tried to really keep that in mind in prepping some of my pages. Before I even got into the actual days in my December daily, I wanted to do a reason why page. This is not something I do every year, but I had this idea for it, and I love how this page came out. I think this might be my favorite spread in this album. I created this little side here that says December and my reason why. And then what I did was I just stamped out like all of my intentions for this season. Celebrate the little joys, good eats, play with paper, relax, lounge by the fire, twinkle lights, stay cozy, love my people, read, bake cookies, make magic, give gifts, get snow, watch movies, slow down, take lots of photos, practice gratitude, have fun, drink hot coffee and tea, cuddle, listen to music, and stay warm. So I had a lot of fun just stamping out things as they came to mind. I didn't really overly plan this page. As you can see, I just kind of went across the spread and broke things up as they hit the end of the line. The words and stuff will just split. I think playing with paper was the only one where I actually split in the middle of the word because I tried not to, but I did. And I just kind of ended it when I got to the end. I tried to pick something that I thought would take the right amount of space to finish it off. This took a ton of time, but I believe I did it when I was like on a Zoom call chatting with friends, and it was just very fun and a great way to kind of start the season. Moving into day one, so I started out the season in New York City. I hadn't been to New York City since 2019 because of the pandemic. And I only live a couple hours away from the city, and I actually used to live in the city. So I go down to the city pretty frequently, most of the time for work. And I finally got to go back to the city. Again, this was for work, but I was super excited to see the city again. And because I was back there and it was the holidays, I took the time to visit the Rockefeller tree and see all of the decorations. I included a lot of those photos in my Project Life album. Because this album is so small, I just chose one, which was this Radio City photo and the decorations in front of Radio City, which I did as a full page photo. And I paired it with this paper from Allie Edwards, just some simple journaling. And then right here, I used my foil quill to write "Welcome to New York. It's been waiting for you" on this transparency. You can see it's kind of shimmery because it's silver foil. It definitely shows up more in person than it does on the video. I did struggle with that. You can see it kind of like went off to there. I didn't line it up properly, but the foil quill was new to me this year and I had a lot of fun with that. Day 2 was the story of my advent calendar, my daughter's advent calendar. So I just included photos of those and very simple story here. Day 3 was some longer journaling about kind of like how stressed I was. And so I hid that under here and created this flip up using the stars that were one of the add-ons and a number here and some stitching. I love doing stitching in my album. You can see I have a ton of stitching on a lot of these pages, and that is just one of my favorite ways to add texture to my albums. Day 4, I added a little 3x4 card in here. I love that I could still use the pocket cards even though I had this very, very tiny album that doesn't have pocket pages in it. And I told a little story here about my friends coming to visit from out of town, and we got a photo in front of my Christmas tree. Day 5, my daughter and I went to go see the Nutcracker. Unfortunately, we didn't get like tickets or a program or anything, but I printed out like their ad from the internet, and I just made it the right size to fit in my album. And then I included a photo of us from the show and this fun like Nutcracker mouse sticker that was from Freckled Fawn. Day 6, I talked about my wrapping paper, and I just did a little bit of journaling on this photo of my wrapping paper, and I really liked how in this size I can do simple things like this and it makes such a huge impact. Day 7 was my new Christmas mug, and I think you can see kind of from this that a lot of my stories for December Daily are super, super simple and basic stories. And that's because, you know, I don't have little kids. I'm not all, you know, doing all these Christmas activities, but I love this opportunity to document something every day, even if it is just my new Christmas mug with cats playing with yarn. Day 8 was about work, and I always tend to do something about work. I journal about it or something because December is a very busy time in my job. I am a tax attorney full-time, and so I tend to have a lot of work because it's the end of the year, and I journaled about that. I did do it as hidden journaling, and there's some on the front and back because I was working on both my class and my job at this point in time. So the front is talking about my job and the back is talking about my class and all of the work I had going on. And I like having that hidden in there because it is more private journaling. Day 9 was about putting the Christmas lights up on the outside of my house. This is something that I had never done by myself before. My daughter did help this year, but in the past, this was my first year in this house by myself after I got divorced. So I was very nervous to put them up, but it was something that was very important to me. So I wrote "Making My Own Magic" across the top. And I just did a very simple journaling across the bottom and just wanted to capture a picture of my house. And I love how I spread it across the 2 pages to have a larger photo in here. I did put the Christmas lights up in November, right after Thanksgiving, and I was just waiting for a day to get it in this album when I didn't have another story. Day 10, I again did the large photo all the way across because my daughter and I baked our Christmas cookies. Because this album is so small, I think I did a lot less journaling this year on my everyday stories, but I do have like the longer journaling included like in this pocket or in Days 3's flip up. So I do include longer journaling, but my everyday stories were more just like focused on the photo and the facts. So like this one here, I have no journaling. I just took a photo of the cookies that we baked. I laid them out on our dining room table and I left some empty spots, one for the 10 and one for this digital word art from Allie. And that tells enough of the story because we have baked these cookies every year for as long as I can remember. And I like that I have this kind of tradition and I don't really need to tell the story of the tradition again because I've told that story in other December dailies. I just like that I documented how it happened. On the 11th, we finally got the first snow, which is a story I always want to include in my December daily. And I think it was in 2021. One year we didn't get it till the day before Christmas. Not Christmas Eve, no, we got on the 23rd, which is very late for where I live in upstate New York. But it's always kind of throwing off what I'm going to do in my album because I don't know when the snow is going to hit. But thankfully it worked out where it fell on day 11. And I wanted to do another full page photo. So I had the full page photo for day 9, day 10, and day 11 because the snow hit. And I have my full house again, which is actually pretty neat because I like that I have it here without any snow. And then 2 days later, everything is covered in snow. And what I did for this one was I created these flip ups with vellum that says first snow. I put the date here, 11, added this with some ribbon trim. And then I cut out the letters for snow. And then on the back, I cut it out again, the reverse, and did some type journaling to talk a little bit about the snow that we got. Okay. Day 12, I was on a craft Zoom, or not Zoom, a live, an Allie Edwards story chat on Instagram. So I wanted to include that. And then I also had some other things that I had contributed to this year. I contributed a calendar to the prep day and I contributed to product play at Allie Edwards. So I wanted to document how I did all of those things and kind of the crafting community and how much I love it around, especially around December daily. So I put all of those into my day 12 story. Some of these pieces here are from the Freckled Fawn kit. That was the Christmas themed kit, which I believe they actually put out in possibly October, maybe November. No, I think it's October so that you can have it in time to do your December daily, but it is their standard kit. Day 13 was my lesson for product play, and I was just using this simple vellum, which I love so much, but I overlaid it on a cutout on white paper and put the 13 there, and then I have it covering the picture of my wreath. And so I didn't do any additional journaling. I considered writing on here about my wreath, but I think that it just kind of speaks for itself. Again, trying to keep it super simple, which is not my real, like, I'm not a very big minimalist. I'm not a maximalist either, but I don't go super simple very often. So I really tried with this album and I love how it turned out. Day 14 is again about my coffee, but instead of being about my mug, I talked about how I'm making my coffee and how it's just such a big part of my day and my life right now. It's not really a Christmas story, but it is just a life story. So I really liked being able to include it. And I loved this photo that I took of my coffee with the Christmas tree and my socks, and it just was very fun. I love how this one came out. Day 15, my daughter and I did a college tour, and I considered doing some additional journaling. My daughter ended up not going to this college, but it is a local college here, and we went and did the tour that day. And I think just putting the flyer from it and the date was sufficient to remind myself of what we did that day and why that's in here. Day 16, my class launched. So as I said at the beginning of this video, I taught a class for Allie Edwards in January called Plan, Prep, and Play. And the class went on sale and launched on December 16th. So it was the first time that I could kind of share publicly that I was teaching this class. So I put the class icon here and just add a little bit of journaling about it and 16 for the date. And I love that that was included in my album. And of course that had to be the story for the day that the class launched. Day 17 was my Christmas card. I went back and forth about sending out Christmas cards this year because, like I said, it was just me and my daughter. But we did get professional photos taken for her senior portraits, and we got some that were also the two of us. So I decided to use those to create my own Christmas cards rather than ordering some because it's much cheaper to do it at home. And of course, I made it the exact right size to fit in my album. But these are what the cards look like that I sent out, and I had rounded the corners on the cards, so I did it. I just put one of them in here and added the 17 on top. Day 18, this paper was from the Paisley Press mini kit, and it had like gold foiling on the paper itself. I didn't get the kit, but I did get the digital version. So what I did was I did some like gold heat embossing to kind of add that sparkle to it. It didn't come out perfectly, but I do like how it turned out. And I added some journaling. My story for day 18 was about a gift swap that I did with some of my craft friends that I talked to on Marco Polo. We were a Marco Polo chat, and the four of us chat a lot, especially around December daily, which is when we first met. And I sent them each a gift package. Our idea was to send gifts related to our region of the country. We're all from different parts of the United States. So I sent them some New York themed things. And what I did was I took pictures of their packages and kind of put them on top of this transparency, and then you flip it over and can see what is inside each of their gift boxes. That was where I actually finished my album to in December of 2022. And then I finished it off this last month. Day 19 was I went to see the movie Violent Night. And again, I didn't add any additional journaling, just the movie poster, keeping it super simple with the number. Day 20 was our holiday party at work. And I had taken this photo with my shoes and two of my favorite snacks that I grabbed from the party. So I was happy to have a very simple photo. I don't typically take photos at work, and I don't take photos of like my coworkers and stuff. So I wasn't going to like tell people to get in a photo for me. So this was a great way to document the holiday party and just kind of make note that this was our first holiday party since the pandemic, because we had to take a couple of years off from having a get together like that. Day 21, I documented all of my planners for the upcoming year of 2023. And so what I did was I took photos of each of my planners on flat lay, and then I cropped them out and put them on white cardstock or white paper here with the number 21. And then underneath each one, you could flip it open and read a little bit about that planner and my plans to use it in 2023. Day 22 is probably my favorite. This one, I came up with this idea last year during the prep party, and I was so excited to put it together. It didn't turn out exactly my initial thought of it, but I love how it came out. What I ended up doing was basically making like a shaker pocket of my daughter's stocking. But I didn't, so it doesn't actually look like her stocking, but it's a stocking. And I didn't seal the top, so you can actually reach in here and take out all of these things, which are photos of everything that was in her stocking. And I printed them all fairly small, so they would all fit in here. And then I also have a charm for day 22 in there. And then I just have a paper clip to keep them sealed inside. Day 23 was just a very simple photo of my cat with the Christmas lights and just documenting the decorations around my house and how simple, and relaxing our home was at Christmas time. Day 24, I think, was my most minimal day. This is about as minimalist as I get. For Christmas Eve, we have traditions that we do every year, and we didn't really change them this year. So rather than telling that story again, I just listed out all of the food we ate, which is a big part of our tradition, is to do hors d'oeuvres. So I listed out all of the hors d'oeuvres that we had this year, and I just typed them up and then put a little bit here for decoration. And then for day 25, I created another flip out. This is how we do Christmas, and here I included some photos from Christmas morning. I considered doing some additional journaling, but like I said, I really wanted to keep it simple and let the photos kind of tell the story. Christmas Day is Christmas Day. There's not really a lot of surprise as far as how it went. I can pretty much guess and tell from the photos. So I think that this was a great way for me to end it. And then on the end, I just put one of the stickers that I believe was from the advent calendar. And that just wraps up this album, this super chunky little mini album. I am so happy to have this done. And I'm super excited to dive into December Daily 2023 and prepping content for that for you guys. I will be sharing a lot of content for December Daily 2023, but not all of it here on my YouTube. So stay tuned if you're interested in seeing that for me. And I will see you guys all in the next video. Thank you so much for being here. Bye.